Rukmini Dwarkadish, Rukmini Dwarkadish. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Gauranitai. Nittai Gaur Haribol, 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 Gaur Haribol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Gaur Premanandi Hari Bol, Jaya Om Vishnu Pad, Paramahansa Padaprajaka Acharya Asitar Sata Shri Shrimad. ISKCON DBT Founder, Charles Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitya Leela Prabhu Om Vishnu Pad is a mind Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kahosh Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopana Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Brajabhumbandam Dam Ki Jai. Shri Nabari Mayapur Dam Ki Jai. Shri Lila Chal Jagannath Puri Dam Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shrimati Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai. Your most beautiful Lordship Shri Rukmini Dwarkadish Ki Jai. Shri Rukmini Dwarkanath Ki Jai. Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Ki Jai. Shri Shri Gaurnitai Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Going back to home, back to Godhead Ki Jai. ISKCON Los Angeles Yatra Ki Jai. Brihad Mudanga Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai. International Food for Life Transcendental Prasadam Distribution Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the seven devotees. All glories to the seven devotees. All glories to the seven devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Glory to Srila Prabhupada. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotamam Deving Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayamutirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, let us offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of God and Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author, and unto Srila Prabhupada, who is the translator, commentator, and our spiritual master. Nashta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. By regularly attending the Srimad Bhagavatam class and by rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving devotional service unto the personality of Godhead, whose worship with transcendental songs becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're continuing our reading from the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 8, prayers in Kunti and Parikshit Save, and today's text is 48. Okay, I have 49 here. Okay. 48. Aho me pashyata jnanam hridi rudham duratmanaha parakshasyaiva dehasya vavyo me kshonihi hataha Aho me pashyata jnanam Riddhi rudhang duratmanaha Parakshasya dehasya Bhavyo meksho hinir hataha. Remember, we've gone over this many times. It's ataha because it's a long A. If it was a short A, it would be hataha. But because there's a long A, it's ataha. Aho me pashyata jnanam Hridi rudhang duratmanaha Parakshasya dehasya Bhavyo meksho hinir hataha. Aho me pashyata jnanam Hridi rudhang duratmanaha Parakshasya dehasya Bhavyo meksho hinir hataha. Aho me pashyata jnanam Hridi rudhang duratmanaha Parakshasya dehasya Bhavyo meksho hinir hataha. Aho me pashyata jnanam Hridi rudhang duratmanaha Parakshasya dehasya Bhavyo meksho hinir hataha. Aho me pashyata jnanam Hridi rudhang duratmanaha Parakshasya dehasya Bhavyo meksho hinir hataha. Aho me pashyata jnanam Hridi rudhang duratmanaha Parakshasya dehasya Bhavyo meksho hinir hataha. Vaishnavins. Aho me pashyata jnanam Hridi rudhang duratmanaha Parakshasya dehasya Bhavyo meksho hinir hataha. Aho me pashyata jnanam Hridi rudhang duratmanaha Parakshasya dehasya Bhavyo meksho hinir hataha. Aho me pashyata jnanam Hridi rudhang duratmanaha Parakshasya dehasya Bhavyo meksho hinir hataha. So, Aho me pashyata jnanam Hridi rudhang duratmanaha Parakshasya dehasya Bhavyo meksho hinir hataha. So, synonyms. Aho, o, me, my. Pashyata, just see. Ajnanam, ignorance. Hridi, in the heart. Rudham, situated in. Duratmanaha, of the sinful. Parakshasya, meant for others. Eva, Certainly, dehasya of the body, bhavyaha, many, many, may, by me, akshohinihi, combination of military phalanxes, hataha, killed. King Yudhishthira said, O my lot, I am the most sinful man. Just see my heart, which is full of ignorance. This body, which is ultimately meant for others, has killed many, many phalanxes of men. Please repeat. King Yudhishthira said, O my lot, I am the most sinful man. Just see my heart, which is full of ignorance. This body, which is ultimately meant for others, has killed many, many phalanxes of men. Srila Prabhupada's purport. A solid phalanx of 21,870 chariots, 21,870 elephants, 109,650 infantry, and 65,600 cavalry is called an Akshahini. And many Akshahinis were killed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Maharaj Yudhishthira, as the most pious king of the world, takes for himself the responsibility for killing such a huge number of living beings because the battle was fought to reinstate him on the throne. This body is, after all, meant for others. While there is life in the body, it is meant for the service of others, and when it is dead, it is meant to be eaten by dogs and jackals or maggots. He is sorry because for such a temporary body, such a huge massacre was committed. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvashesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Jaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtang Sapitang Jaina Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandehang Shri Guru Shri Tapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raganatan Matam Tang Sajivam Chadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vatangsha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosate Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpaturubhya Shah Kripa Sanubhya Evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today we are hearing about numbers, the numbers of men, individuals who were killed on this battlefield of Kurukshetra 5,000 years ago. When Gauranga Prema gave class, he gave the number 640 million persons who died in 18 days. That's a lot of killing. Some people don't believe it. But as I like to point out, philosophically, everyone should understand it's not because you believe something or don't believe means that it's true or not true. If I say there are 4 million people in the country of Croatia, you may believe or not believe, that doesn't make it factual or not factual. So this is one of the things that's hard for conditioned souls to understand, that our believing or not believing has no bearing on anything. It has no bearing. Whether you believe or you don't believe, it doesn't matter. There's either it's factual or it's not factual. And our accepting or not accepting doesn't change the fact. So either it's factual or it's not. Whether you believe or you don't believe, 640 million people died. Now, if you want to compare it to the modern presentation of how many human beings are on this planet, they claim in the neighborhood of 7 million human beings on the planet. So that means in 18 days, about 10%, approximately, a little less, of all the human beings on the planet disappeared in 18 days. That's not so difficult to understand. That is factual. A few years back, we had this tsunami that went around the Pacific Rim, and within a couple of days, 300,000 human beings died just from that one gigantic wave that rolled around the Pacific Rim. 300,000. Sitting in Los Angeles, in the New Yorker community, it doesn't register. 300,000 human beings dying within a space of about 48 to 60 hours, something like that. It doesn't register. It doesn't feel like, just like for most people, even the meat eaters, they have no idea of the quantity of animals that are killed every day, every week, every month, every year. By the end of a year, numbers in the billions of animals that are killed. But as individuals, it doesn't register on us. So these numbers are nothing. We have no idea. When we hear also, if you don't have faith, that the Lord has unlimited energies, it doesn't register. What does it mean, unlimited? But just to give you an idea of how just a small fraction of the Lord's creation produces practically unlimited energy. Across the street, we're in 3764. Across the street is 3765. In America, when you have two sides of a street, one side usually has all the even numbers and the other side has the odd numbers. So we're on the even number side. We have 3764, and just opposite is 3765. There are two trees standing there in front of that building. Every day they're generating these little seed-like pods that fall on the sidewalk. And literally every day Dan is blowing them away. And within 24 hours it's filled up again practically. So much to the point that when I'm walking down the street, I try to avoid walking on that side because if you step on them, it crunches, sticks in your Birkenstocks or whatever you're wearing. 2 trees produces so much energy you can't calculate. If I were to send you to count within one day how many of those pods fall on it, you would be exhausted. What to speak of over a week, over a month, over a year. So just 2 trees produces practically unlimited energy you cannot count. So we should not shake our heads and poo-poo this concept of unlimited energy. Just again, go down to one beach, Venice Beach. You could spend 10 lifetimes trying to count how many grains of sand are down there. And that's just one beach along one little part of the coastline of California. What to speak of all the beaches on this little planet called Earth. So we have to see things in perspective. And Prabhupada put it very nicely into perspective for Tamal Krishna Goswami when he was Tamal Krishna Das Brahmachari. You've heard the story many times, but it's always worth meditating on. They're sitting in the former temple in La Cienega. And Prabhupada could see that Tamal Krishna Das Brahmachari was getting a little puffed up being the temple commander. So he gave him a perspective of where he was. That Mahavishnu was breathing, and out of his pores of his body, so many unlimited billions of universes come out. And then in each universe he enters as the Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and so many planets are in each and every universe. Unlimited planets in this one little universe. And in each planet, there are so many continents. And in each continent, there are so many countries. Each country, there are so many cities. In each city, there are so many streets. And on each street, there are so many buildings. And in one little building on one street, there's one person thinking that he's the boss. So we have no idea. We have to understand what is our position. What is our position? In the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, in the 5th verse, very, very instructive verse. You should read if you haven't read it in a while. Nirmana Moha Jita Sangha Dosha, that verse. So, Prabhupada is explaining, Krishna is explaining, how we can come to this point of full surrender. How we can come to that point of full surrender. And the very first point is nirmana, without false prestige. We have to become free from false prestige. So Prabhupada spends practically an entire purport explaining how we have this false prestige and how to get rid of it. So this false prestige, thinking that I am so important, I am the Lord of all I survey, I am in control, I am in charge, I am. This idea is the biggest, Prabhupada says, biggest stumbling block to surrender to Krishna. So we have to see. We have to see ourselves. Now, Yudhishthira Maharaj's compassion is not to be mistaken here. He's not like a common man who laments over everything. There's 2 things that go on the material platform: hankering and lamentation. We hanker for what we don't have, and we lament when we lose it. Or sometimes we will lament after we get it, quite often. We hanker for this job, this relationship, that situation. We get it, and when inevitably we're still not satisfied, then we lament. Oh, why didn't I try for that other job? Or why didn't I move to that other state? Or why didn't I get involved with that other person? Hankering lamentation. So devotees, especially it's mentioned Brahmanas, but devotees are supposed to be beyond Brahminical platform, are supposed to be beyond hankering and lamentation. So how is it that Yudhishthira Maharaj here is lamenting for having discharged his duty properly? So as we've heard, this is again direct control of Krishna. Krishna is putting on this gigantic play, you could say. It's like a big play. And the pure devotees, they know their roles. They do exactly what Krishna wants them to do. And therefore the play unfolds as it's supposed to. But for those who are not on the devotional platform, it seems bewildering. It seems bewildering that on the one hand, there is the law of karma, that if you step on even an ant, you have to pay the result. Yet on the other hand, supposedly the Supreme Personality of God is inducing his devotees to kill millions of living entities, to kill even other devotees. So bewildering. On the one hand, you have the Pandavas, and the other side, you have Bhishma Dev, who is also a great devotee. And he's trying his best to kill the Pandavas, and the Pandavas are trying their best to kill him. How is this? How is this? They're both devotees of the Supreme God, the one Lord. How is it possible? Why would he induce one devotee to kill another devotee? Bewildering. Vidambanam, as Kunti Devi said in her prayers. Vidambanam. It's bewildering. How Krishna works, what he wants, is bewildering. We should not ever think that we understand God. It's not possible. To the degree that God reveals himself to us, to that degree we can understand. Otherwise, it's completely bewildering. We have a case I've mentioned several times in the Navadip Mahatmya. Bhaktivinoda Thakur's disappearance day is coming up next week. He mentions that when Yudhishthira Maharaj, later on, he wanted to perform the Rajasuya sacrifice, so his brothers, the other four Pandavas, they went out in the four directions to conquer and to get all the other kings to acknowledge Yudhishthira as the emperor of the world. So Bhimasena, he went towards the south, and he came across this kingdom in the area of what's now modern-day Bengal. There was one king there. His name was Samudra Sen, and he was a devotee of Krishna. But somehow or other, Krishna from within the heart induced him not to surrender. He said, no, I'm going to fight. Because that was the arrangement. Either you surrender and accept Yudhishthira as the emperor, or we're going to fight. So he decided, I'm going to fight. So he was fighting. He's a devotee of Krishna. Bhimasena is a devotee of Krishna, and they're fighting against each other. And the Samudra Sen was winning, which would upset the total balance of what's supposed to happen here. Krishna wants Yudhishthira to be the emperor of the world. That's why this whole battle was fought. So many millions of men were killed to enthrone. So how, if Bhimasena loses this fight, then the whole thing goes out the window. So what to do? So Bhimasena is fighting his best, but the Samudra Sen is beginning to overpower him. And then all of a sudden, he sees Samudra Sen stop fighting, and he gets down off his chariot and bows down. So he thinks, okay, he's surrendering. I accept. But what really happened was, Krishna appeared to Samudra Sena, his devotee, but he was not visible to Bhimasena, who's also his devotee. So Krishna can do that. It's not that because one devotee can see Krishna, that means all the other devotees also see him. No. He appeared to Samudra Sena, and because Samudra Sena is a devotee, what would you do? You're fighting and all of a sudden you see Krishna, of course you're going to get down and bow down. So he did that. He got off his chariot, he bowed down to Krishna. And Bhimasena, because he didn't see Krishna, he thought, he's surrendering. Okay, I accept his surrender. So this is Krishna. You cannot understand Krishna. We should never think that we have Krishna within our, 8-inch skull here. We understand Krishna. No. Krishna cannot be understood by anyone. That's why he's Swarat. He's completely independent. He can act in one way this time and act in a completely opposite way the other time. And that's why he's called the Absolute Truth. Earlier on in this canto, 1-11, we had that seminal verse, but anti tat tattavidas tattam yajganam abhyam. Brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdate. Very important verse to understand. Learned transcendentalists have described that the absolute truth is understood in three phases: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So in that purport, Prabhupada mentions who understands the different features. He says those who understand the Brahman feature are, he identifies the three classes. Those who are students of the Upanishads. He says the students of the Upanishads, they understand the absolute truth as Brahman. And then who understands as Paramatma? He says the Hiranyagarbhas, or the yogis. And then who understands as Bhagavan? The devotees. The devotees. So the devotees understand Krishna as Bhagavan, the topmost realization of the absolute truth. So we should understand what it means, the absolute truth. The absolute truth, Prabhupada stated many times, is that being or personality or thing, if you want to call it, in which all relative truths are reconciled. So we can see something that is a relative truth, black and white, day and night. But Krishna is the absolute truth, and all such opposing, all such dual understandings, all dualities become reconciled in the one absolute truth, Krishna. So we should always remember that. You, I, all of us, we're comprehending some fraction, some portion of the absolute truth. We're not seeing everything. It's not possible. That would make us God, Krishna. It's not possible for us to see the big picture. We can have some understanding that there is a big picture, that there's a supreme being from whom everything is emanating, who's controlling everything and everyone. But we cannot see that absolute truth in toto. It's not possible. So keeping that in mind, we should understand that we cannot fault Yudhishthira for his lamentation. This lamentation is brought on by Krishna wanting to bring on the next chapter, the next scene in his big drama that he's enacting here. And that next scene is that Bhishma Deva, again, it's all mind-blowing. Here's that Bhishma Deva who's been drilled with arrows by Arjuna. He's lying on a bed of arrows. But because he had the benediction that he would not die until he wanted to, he's lying there, can't move. He's completely drilled with these arrows. But just imagine, think about it. One thorn goes into your foot or your finger, and you're screaming and get it out, and you want one thorn. Here he's lying with arrows all through his body, to the point where he's like lying on a bed of arrows, suspended off the ground by the arrows. Can you imagine the pain? But because he's a pure devotee of the Lord, he transcends that painful situation. And his faculties are completely intact. And therefore, when the same Arjuna, Yudhishthira, Bhima, and Nakula Sahadeva appear before him, he can give them instructions dispassionately, not being affected at all by the external situation. And this is one of the hallmarks of a pure devotee. The pure devotee, one of the, as it's stated in the Nectar Devotion, the first installment of pure devotion is that one is beyond the material platform. The three modes of nature don't affect you anymore. While we're in the contaminated, completely contaminated or mixed contaminated state, we're definitely affected by the threefold miseries, adhyatmika, devottika, and daivika kleshas. They affect us. We cannot deny that. Now it's very hot. It's extremely hot. So hard to sleep at night, even with the windows open and the fan going. I don't know about you, but I can't sleep with AC on. It's just, I can't. So no matter how hot it is, it means opening the window and running the fan. And living in that building on the corner there, opening the window means all night long traffic. And it's funny, when I first came here in 75, Venice Boulevard was more like Watsika Avenue at night. One car would go by every now and then. But then they ripped down those gigantic palm trees that were there. They widened it and made it into practically a super highway. And now 24/7, 365, zoom, 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 zoom. Cars are going by. So, but we tolerate. But this is the material world. As long as we're under the modes of nature, we're going to be affected, apparently negatively or positively, by these situations. But the pure devotees are not, and Prabhupada demonstrated that many, many times. So many times. There's that story of when he was in Mauritius, coming down a hill in a car. And all of a sudden, Prabhupada planted his cane because he knew what was going to happen. And then bang, they got into an accident. And Prabhupada got some injury on his foot. But he knew, Krishna told him it's coming. Landed his foot, bang. And Prabhupada was not screaming and crying, and he knew what was happening. And, he told him what to do to put on the wound and like that, but unaffected. What to speak of when he was leaving this world? When he was leaving this world. Excruciatingly painful to be in that condition. I don't know about you, but I wasn't there in Vrindavan when it happened, but I saw that movie when it came out, and Yadabar made it, and it was just too painful to watch at first. It took me a while before I could really sit and watch to see Prabhupada in that condition. After seeing Prabhupada in this condition, that was the condition that we were used to from day one. I was fortunate that when I first joined in '73, it was just before Prabhupada came to visit New York, so I saw him from the very beginning looking like this, and that's how I remember Prabhupada. But so to see that movie and see him in that condition, but the point is that the pure devotee is beyond, not affected. Doesn't mean that one should mistreat the spiritual master. Oh, the spiritual master is on the pure devotee platform, and therefore he's beyond the modes of nature, so it doesn't matter. No. Prabhupada said at the Kumbh Mela, I'm an old man, make some arrangement for hot water so I can take my bath. It's not that, Prabhupada is beyond the modes of nature, so give him ice cold water from the Ganges to bathe in. No. Prabhupada said, I'm an old man, I need hot water, make some arrangement to give me hot water. In other words, be mindful, be thoughtful of the pure devotee. It's an opportunity to render service, and we should take that opportunity seriously. Even when it's a service in separation. It's not that because Prabhupada is gone now and I can't make hot water for his bath. No, we can still give Srila Prabhupada the same heartfelt service that we could give when he's present. That's the whole idea. Prabhupada is not dead. The whole Bhagavad Gita is to convince us that no one dies. Krishna starts out by telling Arjuna, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future will any of us cease to be. So nobody dies, so what to speak of the spiritual master? But it doesn't mean that we are callous when the spiritual master is before us. He always a pure devotee, he doesn't die, and he knows that. And no, we should do our utmost to greet even a regular devotee, what to speak of when one is dealing with one's spiritual master. So we have a culture, we've been given this culture of understanding the absolute truth, hearing from authorities. In our line, Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya, Sampradaya. Other lines may say things a little different. They have a right to do that, but we take the conclusions that are handed down to us in this line. We take the conclusions that we've heard from Prabhupada. Sometimes people start out in ISKCON and they go to some other camp and they try to convince the ISKCON devotees, well, over here it says that. That's all right. They have a right to say whatever they want. But we accept what we get from Prabhupada. You may accept or not accept. That's up to you. But don't try to convince me that something that Srila Prabhupada said is not right. Whatever Prabhupada is given, that's what it means to be in a Sampradaya. Otherwise, if you have the right at any point to change the Sampradaya conclusion, then you're higher. You have a bigger vision than Srila Prabhupada. How can you be a disciple of Prabhupada, a follower of Prabhupada, a Prabhupada Nuga, and at the same time think that you can change or correct Prabhupada? That's not possible. So we, like Prahlad Maharaj said to Lord of Sringadev, I'm not a vanik, I'm not a merchant. Don't try to pay me off. I simply want to serve my spiritual master Narad Muni, and I'm satisfied, that's it. So that should be our situation. We simply want to serve Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada made it easy. It's not difficult to make me happy. He said, first of all, you chant Hare Krishna. You purify your existence. And then assist each other in taking it out to everybody else. In other words, if we're not serious ourselves about hearing, chanting, then how are we going to induce anybody else to hear and chant? How are we going to do that? And if we are serious, then Krishna makes arrangement where we can make meaningful impact on other people's lives. Yesterday I was reading, Vijay has this... it's a Google group that he posts all these Sankirtan stories that he gets from around the world. So one devotee, UK, I think she was from, she posted a very nice story that she was doing door to door, knocked on a door, and some guy from inside was yelling profanities, get away from here, like yelling. But some other, she just felt induced to keep knocking. So finally the guy came and said, who are you? And she said, well, I'm from the Hare Krishna. As soon as she said Hare Krishna, his mood changed. And he was interested, he bought the Gita. He said, I was trying to commit suicide and you interrupted me. That's why I was yelling like to you like that. So we can have a meaningful impact on people's lives, but if we don't take it seriously, then we're not going to feel the desire to go out, or we don't go out in the right mood. So by going out on Prabhupada's orders and trying to sell Prabhupada's books, she had a meaningful impact on us. She said later on he started coming to the temple, and now he's making progress being a nice devotee. And it's not the first time. It's happened many times. We used to do the drive-in theaters here in Southern California back in the 70s. And one devotee went to a drive-in and knocked on the window, and the guy wouldn't open the window. And so he just got inspired to open the BTG and put it on the windshield. And the guy, eyes open wide, he rolled the window and grabbed it and rolled the window back. And he read the BTG. And later on, he admitted, he said he was trying to commit suicide. That he had made an arrangement for this exhaust to come into his car while he was sitting there watching the movie. And his idea was to just pass away in the car. So like that, devotees on Prabhupada's orders can make a huge difference in people's lives. It's not theoretical here. This is the battle. Just like we had the battle of Kurukshetra we're describing here, where 640 million people died, and millions and millions of people are dying every day, and they're not getting the result that everybody who died in the Krishna's presence, they got liberation. These people are not getting that result. They're going, ahani hani bhutani gachantiya yamalayam shesha stavara ichanti kim astraya takparam. The same Yudhishthira, we know from the Mahabharata, in the Yaksha Prashna Leela, that all the other four Pandavas went to get water from this lake, and there were boys told them, don't drink, but we're big chachas who are going to stop me. They drank, they died. So when Yudhishthira came, the same boys, don't drink. So he said, who are you and why are you stopping me? And then he got these questions. So one of the questions is, what is the most wonderful thing? And his response was, Hani hani bhutani gachantiya yamalayam shesha stavara ichanti kim ashraya takparam. Every day, hani hani bhutani, so many living entities are being sent to the court of Yamaraj. Means they die, and then they go before Yamaraj to be judged. And the result, the judgment, is not good. If you get taken to Yamaraj, it means that you're punishable. Because those who are not punishable, they don't go to Yamaraj. Just like it was stated in the Ajamil Lila, that the devotees, they don't see Yamaraj after death. So if you are brought before Yamaraj, it means you're punishable. And the punishment generally is, go to hell. Like we have this statement, it's phrased in English, go to hell. Yes, every day people are being sent to hell. But it's not eternal. I just exchanged with some non-devotees on an online forum, where one Christian guy was saying, if you don't accept Jesus, you're going to go to burn in hell forever. And I reminded him that anything that can burn forever is not burning. Anything that you take that is combustible, you light it, it burns, and it's gone. And at least from the scientific viewpoint, it transforms. That solid energy is now transformed into some other kind of energy. But it doesn't remain the same. So anything that can burn eternally is not burning. It's a simple understanding. So it means that, again, it establishes the fact that we're dealing with eternal living entities. If you can be burning for eternity, that means you're alive for eternity. But God is not so cruel that you're going to burn eternally. You get punished, and then you're given a chance again to elevate your consciousness. So, but Yudhishthira told the Yaksha, Shesha stavara ichanti. Those who remain, in other words, those who have not died yet, they go on developing so many desires to enjoy here. Enjoy this, enjoy that. New car, new house, new relationship, this, that, that. Everybody's trying to enjoy. But we're trying to enjoy that which is temporary, and we're eternal. It's an incompatible situation, and therefore always disappointment. Always disappointment. No matter whether you die poor or you die rich. Like Devamrita Swami said very insightfully in his class, that the pauper is materialistic with his few pennies, and the rich man is materialistic with his millions of dollars. But they're both materialistic. So, anyway, we could say more, but it's 20 after. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is lamenting. It's not lamentation based on ignorance. It's not agyanam. It's lamentation based on taking part in this big drama that Krishna is unfolding. That's all. Because we know he's most intelligent. Again, he's the only one of the 5 brothers who survived because he could answer the questions of the Yaksha. He's the most intelligent person. So he's not lamenting from the material attached point of view. his lamentation is fueled by Krishna's desire to glorify Bhishma Dev. Okay, any questions, comments? Yes.
Because you were talking about the point where these things are bewildering and Krishna's instructions, or how Krishna works, a little bit bewildering, as commented on by Queen Kunti. But then again, at the same time, it seems quite clear and simple what Srila Prabhupada has put before us as the prescription: chant Hare Krishna, read Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, go to Mangalarti, come on Harinam, distribute books, and as a scientific side effect, you feel very happy and satisfied doing that. So how's it? It seems very clear and clean cut. I mean, at the same time.
Yes. So again, Krishna is the absolute truth. So even those who are on the pure platform cannot comprehend Krishna completely. Mother Yashoda, thinking that Krishna is her son and looking at his mouth and seeing the universe and being bewildered. So even those who are on the pure platform can't comprehend Krishna completely. It's not possible. So what to speak of when we're in the modes of nature? So that much understanding we should have. But it takes some time to do that. People are bewildered by their material intelligence. They think, and again, as I've said in other classes, nowadays, just one component of intelligence is stressed. Memory is definitely a component of intelligence, but it's not the only component. But nowadays, that's what's stressed. If you can remember so much knowledge from so many books and about so many things, oh, that person's intelligent. But memory is just one portion of intelligence. The ability to discriminate what is to be done and what is not to be done, that's more important. So even a person who doesn't have vast memory, if in every situation, because they're surrendered, the Super Soul is guiding them, they know what to do and what not to do, that is a higher manifestation of intelligence. But nowadays, again, people are bewildered. If you have a PhD or 2 or 3 and you can remember so many vast facts and figures, and you must be very intelligent. But as we know from the Scholar and the Boatman play, if you can't swim, then all of that intelligence goes out the window. So if you're not trained how to swim across the ocean of birth and death, then all of your so-called intelligence is useless. It's useless. Now, anything else? Okay, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Jai. Hare Krishna.